Step into the darkness, where whispers linger in the shadows and echoes of the past refuse to fade. Tonight, 4 haunting tales will unravel before you. Stories of madness, guilt, and the inescapable grip of fate. Listen closely, but be warned. Some shadows stretch farther than we can see, and some whispers never fade away. Now, close your eyes and let the story begin. The Masque of the Red Death. The Red Death had long devastated the land. No plague had ever been so fatal or so hideous. Blood was its seal, its mark. Sharp pains, sudden dizziness, and then bleeding at the pores with dissolution. The scarlet stains upon the body, especially on the face, were the pestilence that shut him out from sympathy. The disease took its victims in half an hour. But Prince Prospero was happy, dauntless, and sagacious. When his dominions were half depopulated, he summoned 1,000 healthy friends from among his court. With them, he retired to a deep, secluded abbey. This was an extensive structure, created by the prince's own eccentric taste. A strong and lofty wall girdled it, with iron gates welded shut to prevent any ingress or egress. The courtiers would defy contagion. The outside world could take care of itself. It was in the 5th or 6th month of this seclusion, while the plague raged most fiercely, that the prince entertained his 1,000 friends at a masquerade ball of unusual magnificence. The masquerade was a voluptuous scene. The rooms were irregularly shaped, so the vision was obstructed by sharp turns at every 20 or 30 yards. With each turn, a new effect awaited, as the windows and tapestries reflected the mood of each room. The eastern room was blue, the second purple, and the third green. Each room changed hues with the changing light from the windows. But the 7th room was black, with velvet tapestries hanging from the ceiling and walls. The windows were scarlet, a deep blood color. There were no lamps or candelabras inside. In the corridors, there were tripods with braziers of fire, casting rays through the tinted glass. In the western room, the effect was ghastly and produced a wild look on the faces of those who dared enter. At the western wall stood a giant clock of ebony. Its pendulum swung with a dull, heavy clang. As each hour struck, a sound rang out from the clock, clear, loud, deep, and musical. But the sound was so peculiar that the orchestra had to stop, and the dancers paused. For a moment, there was an uneasy silence. When the echoes ceased, light laughter returned, and the dancers continued. The revelers were bold and exuberant, enjoying themselves with music, wine, and dance. The Duke had designed the movable embellishments for the 7 chambers, and it was his taste that had given character to the masqueraders. The guests were grotesque, their attire strange and extravagant. There was much that was beautiful, and some that was terrifying. But at midnight, the music ceased. The waltzers stopped, and an uneasy silence settled. It was then that a new figure entered, a tall, gaunt, and shrouded figure wearing a mask of death. Its robes were stained with blood, and the figure moved slowly, solemnly among the guests. The prince, enraged, demanded that the figure be unmasked, but no one dared move. The figure passed through each room with measured steps until it reached the black chamber. The prince, maddened with rage, rushed after it, but as he entered the black room, he collapsed dead. The courtiers, desperate, tried to seize the figure, but when they reached it, they discovered it had no form beneath the robes. presence of the Red Death. The revelers began to fall one by one, their bodies scattered across the rooms as the Red Death claimed its dominion. The clock stopped, the flames extinguished, and darkness and decay spread across the halls, unchallenged by any. The Red Death had come like a thief in the night, and no one was left to defy it. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope these whispered tales have brought you a sense of peace and relaxation. If you enjoyed tonight's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you're ready for more tales, check out my other stories in the playlist linked below. Thank you for being part of this peaceful journey with me. Stay calm and come back soon for more whispered stories. Until next time, may your dreams be sweet and your sleep peaceful. Take care. And remember, I'll be here when you need another story to help you drift into a calm and restful slumber.